Hello, welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. This is my actual background. This is what the actual office looks like. It's in progress. So am I. I've had some wonderful friends helping me out with this. Thank you, Bucky, Devin, Isis, and not the least of which, Andrew. Coming along, there's some things that need to be added, moved around, brought from the old apartment, and stacked up. We're getting there. There is controversy in the TTRPG sphere. Once again, thanks to Wizards of the Coast and their latest non-edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Because of course there is. And I want to address it a little bit. I'm not going to address it in too detailed a fashion yet. Simple reason being, I don't have the third book. I do not have a copy of the Monster Manual. That shows up on Thursday. Why? And is that part of the problem? I'll tell you, and yes, it is. We'll get there, though. I've had this conversation before when we went to 5th edition. This one is weird. Very, very briefly. I started this hobby with white box, blue book, Dungeons and Dragons. The first edition, got it around someplace, probably in storage. Hard to tell these days. I've had a copy of pretty much every edition out there. My real gaming career, because I had the books and looked through them for the pretty pictures and the maps and stuff, and I drew maps all day. I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons with other folks until 2nd edition advanced. Second edition advanced was a good game. A little number heavy, a little chart heavy. You had to be up on some math. I still can't calculate THACO, nor would I like to try. Thank you very much. But it took Dungeons and Dragons from being an overly complicated war game to being an actual role-playing game, especially as more supplements came out for 2nd edition advanced. Unearthed Arcana, world-changing. I love the Thief Acrobat class, and pretty much all the content of that book. I had to buy a 2nd edition because I read the first copy I got to destruction. And the one that was based on adventures from a more Eastern cultural perspective that has the currently problematic name, that was good. I really enjoyed that one. Lots of martial arts and stuff. A lot of information about Asian culture that I had been unaware of, and it helped fill me in on things. Might have led to my decision to study the Okinawan School of Martial Arts. Things changed when 3rd edition came out. 3rd edition was beautiful. A gorgeous set of books, well written, better organized. The gameplay flowed so much better. You didn't have to go back to charts all the time. You could do an awful lot just off the character sheet. The artwork, gorgeous artwork. Was it perfect? No, it was never going to be. But one thing they did, innovating, not just the system, but the business around the system. And they produced the open source document, the OSR, for Dungeons and Dragons system D20. Don't publish our stats for our stuff, but here's the rule system. Go ahead and publish a game, your own game with our rule system. That was the invitation of the OSR. That's what Wizards of the Coast asked people to do, make games. One of my favorite games of all time, Mutants and Masterminds, 1st edition, came out from that open source document. Beautiful. Then there's 4th edition. And the joke is the whole Highlander 2, we don't talk about the 4th edition. Let's talk about the 4th edition. The artwork, amazing. The system, the temptation is to use the word dumbed down, and I don't think that's correct. It was streamlined. It was produced so that if you knew how the flow from character beginning to the final level available for one character class, you could do it for all of them because they all had roughly the same progression. It made it difficult to play a character that felt different from the other characters at the table, but you could. And if you had good players and a good game master, wonderful. But if you're sitting in the friendly local gaming shop playing your 5th edition game at the table, you can't help but notice changes in other titles, like a 2nd edition of Mutants and Masterminds that didn't make any sense, that made nonsensical changes to how the rules worked. And then you dug in a little bit and found out that Wizards of the Coast had, by the admission of some of their own administration, attempted to corner the game market by withdrawing the OSR. Well, we said you could write your games using our rules, but now you can't, and we're withdrawing that, and you have to stop publishing your games, which would make us the leader of the market. It's a terrible move for the hobby, for the people who play role-playing games or run them, for the people who write them. It was a really dark time, and that move was countered by the courts. Green Ronin, in particular, was a company that went in and the publishers of Mutants and Masterminds sued to keep the OSR in place, which worked. But no one was ever going to trust the OSR again. I will make a note. 4th edition would have been a better game all around if the digital aspect of it had premiered alongside the physical book aspect of it, as was the plan. And that failing, it's not Wizards of the Coast's fault. That was I'm not going to go into details here. There was a tragedy in the design team that the team was never able to recover from. I can't imagine a team that could recover from that in a reasonable way. But it crippled that edition. 5th edition came out. I love 5th edition. The artwork is mostly gorgeous. It doesn't have the creative flair of the 3rd edition, but it's all really good. Technically correct. The colors are all right. The detailing is amazing. It's good stuff. 5th edition art's good stuff. The system, I love the system. I kick myself daily for not having invented advantage and disadvantage myself. And it came along with a version of the OSR. And we all said to ourselves, well, they couldn't possibly try to do that again. They got beat in court. And they tried to do it again. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? And it worked about as well. The fan and industry backlash from them making that attempt and watching other people just fly off of their... so many people have put time and effort into D&D 5. It became a cottage industry to do live plays and stuff. Professionals started doing it online and for good market share, for good money. And I got a podcast out there with some actual play on it. And people jumped off of D&D. It's like, nope. Saw this happen once. We're leaving. in a truly catastrophic way. And just about the time that D&D starts to get a little bit of that goodwill back, mostly because people really want to look past those problems and just enjoy their game, we have a new edition coming out. I don't have the third book. That is not to say that people have not read the third book and reviewed the third book and made content on the Monster Manual. They have. Why have they got the book and I don't have the book? I ordered my book from Amazon. I ordered all the books from Amazon. And Amazon will get it to me on Thursday. I'll have my copy of the Monster Manual on Thursday. I do not have it today because I don't have D&D Beyond. I do not have an additional paid subscription service online through which I could have gotten a digital copy by now. I have thoughts. I appreciate the presence of VTTs or virtual tabletops. I was looking for a really good one right now. Owl Bear Rodeo is what my group currently uses, and it's a good one, but there's other stuff out there I want to explore a little bit. But that's the ability for people to get together either in person or online and see the same tabletop on their computer, move around little counters and do their calculations and stuff right there on the screen, like a battle map of old, but lots more versatile. And Wizards of the Coast wants to monetize that. Their game, their rules, their right to do so. There's a trend in online gaming, not just TTRPGs, but all across with live services and trying to get more money by monetizing more things with microtransactions. And Wizards of the Coast apparently has gotten a wind of how awesome it is to be able to just print your own money by adding things that don't really add value to the content, but people will buy anyway because, creatures of the habit that we are. I'm going to be tempted to spend money on virtual dice because I collect dice and that's virtual dice and they're easier to manage because they're all online. I don't have to worry about putting them in the jug over there. I don't need another addiction like that. Before I even get to the content, which is by all appearances partially problematic, and I've read through the Player's Handbook and the DMG, and I'm seeing some problems that need to be addressed, but I will address the edition as a whole once I've read the third book. This is just to give a little context for what's coming up. Maybe not next week, might be a couple of weeks. I'd like time to read and digest and actually put my notes down in a cogent form. There's every possibility that this is just another one of those hiccups in the road, and we'll all pick up grumbling because our edition of D&D changed, and we don't agree with all the changes, but it's D&D, and what are you going to do? And we'll just continue to roll dice and play. I got a game out there that folks can play that people might enjoy more or less depending on how they like their games. I might start pushing it a little bit harder. It's going to be an interesting landscape coming up. And, well, I'll see what I can do to navigate the large chunks of it and maybe dig a little into the details. It's just a lot of trust has been lost over the years between Wizards of the Coast's client base and Wizards themselves. I'm just hoping they're not about to blow the wad on one last binge. I guess we'll see. Well, thank you very much for watching this particular rant. I'm Scott DeCorum. This is what has mattered to me. I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum. And now, over to Uncle Drac for the outro. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give it a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If there's any other topics you would like to hear Scott talk about, questions you'd like him to answer, subjects you'd like him to cover, please leave a comment down below. He will love getting your comment, and you will love leaving him one. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, why not? This channel is awesome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you do, you might also want to hit the little notification bell so you're alerted when these videos become available. If you would like to support this channel in a more substantial manner, we invite you to hit us up at the Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows us to create better content more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.